Te Huia has had a rough go of things lately. What with the frequent cancellations in the last few weeks due to unspecified mechanical issues, and the NZTA, or as I call it, the NZRTA, YA being short for road, and their bizarre decision on July 11 to ban Te Huia from running in passenger service north of Papakura, while simultaneously letting the Northern Explorer still run to Auckland Strand despite that service being hauled by the same DFB locomotives that apparently didn't have the required safety systems, and still don't. And one of those two red signal incidents with Te Huia didn't even happen in Auckland. To me, it seems like something fishy was going on. From August 7 onwards, Te Huia is now allowed to run all the way to the Strand station once again, after DFB's 7077, 7295 and 7335 were fitted with electronic train protection. I wonder if they've done the same to the locomotives that haul the Northern Explorer. Between Monday, August 7 and Saturday, August 12, passengers were allowed to ride on Te Huia free of charge, and I decided to go on a day trip to Auckland while the free offer was still going. I feel that another problem with this service is that it's too infrequent, and the departure time for the morning service is stupidly early, at 6:05 AM. This is hardly ideal for people who might still want to catch Te Huia despite not living in Hamilton. We arrived at Frankton Station to find DFB's 7077 and 7295 running in a top and tail formation with 6 coaches, a longer than usual consist. DFB 7295 was up front, followed by cab car SRV 5859, cafe coach SRC 5994 and 4 regular SR coaches. In case you didn't already know, these are actually former British Rail Mark II coaches that have now been refurbished twice, and these ones are at least 45 years old. In the early 2000s, 104 of these coaches were rebuilt at Dunedin's Hillside Workshops for commuter service in Auckland, with the not new fleet comprising 80 SA coaches and 24 SD cab cars, while being towed by overhauled DC or DFB class diesel locomotives that had been repainted in the Max Blue livery. The SA and SD coaches were only in service from 2004 to 2015, and have now been replaced by electric multiple units built by CAF in Spain. As for DFB 7295, she isn't a new build for Te Huia either. This locomotive was built by General Motors of Canada in 1979, originally as DF 6127, with the conversion to DFT specifications taking place in 1996. Many years later, in 2018, she was upgraded to DFB specifications at Hutt Workshops. The journey up to Auckland Strand was uneventful, and as a potential and much needed boost to the train's reputation, the train was fairly busy after Rotokauri. The trip normally takes 2 hours and 40 minutes to complete, with intermediate stops at Rotokauri, Huntly, Papakura and Puhi Nui. passing through the town of Papakura, where we can see the construction work taking place for the station's major rebuild. Passenger services to this station temporarily ceased in August 2022 after the retirement of the then 41-year-old ADL diesel multiple units. And if anyone's interested, I've got a video showcasing these units in action, filmed in April 2022. It even includes a quick look in the cab of ADL 802. North of Papakura, I noticed that the electrification is progressing well, with several catenary masts already in place. Now if only they could also extend the electrification down to Pōkeno and build a station there. I mean, talk about a missed opportunity. We arrived at Papakura station 7 minutes early, and the 7:56 commuter service to Britomart went out in front of us. It was a slow crawl through the Auckland suburban area. Hardly surprising though, given the high frequency of the commuter services during the morning peak period. This was my view of Westfield Yard, where some DC and DL locomotives were briefly visible from passing trains. But just like Te Huia, there were a lot of wagons in the way that prevented getting a good view of most of the locomotives. Upon arrival at the Strand, DFBs 7077 and 7295 had at least 45 minutes before heading back to Hamilton at 9:35 am. Rather annoyingly, there is only one bus service that goes along the Strand, and that's the number 755. Because we missed that service, we ended up getting on the Outerlink bus instead to continue down to Newmarket, and we got there just in time to see DFB 7077 leading the charge on the return trip. The specific bus I rode on was Enviro 200 number NB 4019, built in 2011. Now we see DLs 9141 and 9400 reaching the top of the climb from Newmarket to Remuera. These two were hauling train 191 from the Port of Auckland to Westfield. Then it was time to go and see some of the special services running via the otherwise temporarily closed Eastern Line. Before that, I happened to see AM 593, one of 7 vinyl wrap units, calling at Middlemore Station on her way back from Papakura. The AMs were only running via Sylvia Park on special services for the FIFA Women's World Cup, as one of the quarter-finals, apparently between Japan and Sweden, was held at Eden Park on August 11. Northbound Manukau services went via Sylvia Park and back down via Newmarket, with this practice being reversed after around 1500 hours. I can safely say that I wasn't expecting a scene as bizarre as this. At the time of uploading, the Eastern Line is otherwise closed for a complete rebuild. The crazy part is that it isn't expected to reopen until January 2024, because a closure that long definitely won't cause major disruption to the people who regularly use this part of the rail network. Then it was time to continue up to Britomart aboard AM 144, who was leading classmate AM 390 on the 11:15 ex-Manukau service. AM144 is unique in that she was the only member of her class to be fitted with digital signs inside the coaches, presumably as an alternative to normal advertising posters, but these signs didn't appear to be in use anymore. My ride out to New Lynn was aboard AM578, or, as I call her, the sellout. AM578 ran the 12:14 Britomart to Swanson service with classmate 185. This was my view of the ongoing City Rail Link construction work in Mount Eden, and I refused to address the station by its new official name because there was absolutely no point in changing it. Same goes for Britomart. These stations will never be anything other than Mount Eden and Britomart to me, no matter what alternative name they constantly try to shove down our gobs and expect us to blindly follow along with. As a means of filling in time before the return trip to Hamilton, I took the number 18 bus from New Lynn to MOTAT, only to find one tram in operation. The tram in question was SW6 class number 906 from Melbourne, Australia. I decided to ride on this thing up to the Miola Road terminus and back. That scene in the background was quite a surprise, because I didn't know that charter companies used Enviro 500s as well. It turned out that that one was on a school charter. "906 came back in time to run the 14:15 service to Great North Road. I wasn't surprised to see a significantly reduced tram service in operation, especially when compared to special events like the monthly Live Days, which normally feature the absurd ex-Wellington double-decker number 47. Now we leave 906 and the tram line behind, as it's just about time to return to the North Auckland line. I got on another Enviro 500, this time running in the Auckland Transport livery, on the number 18 back to New Lynn. And once there, I decided to head out to Fruitvale Road and see AM 578 again there, because the platforms at New Lynn were too busy. I didn't record it, but some idiots came running through the crossing as AMs 674 and 849 rounded the corner into Fruitvale Road, getting loud blasts on the horn as the driver's response. Seeing the way some people act at level crossings is absolutely appalling. I consider it a happy coincidence to have ridden on AM 578 twice in one day, and despite the sluggish pace of the 755 bus, I made it back to the Strand just in time. There's nothing much to report on about how the return trip went, apart from the fact that the ride quality did get pretty bad at some places, with the coaches jostling about to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if someone spilt their coffee. The train actually got very busy after Puhi Nui and Papakura, to the point where the coach I was riding in, SR 5801, had every seat taken. It was also a bit strange hearing DFB 7077's wailing horn. And after arriving at Frankton Station at least 20 minutes late, DFB's 7077 and 7295 didn't hang around for too long before taking the empty coaches back to Te Rapa.